All right, all right, all right. Here we are behind the red door with me, Penney Aiken, and
Jen Petersen.
we have the pleasure of speaking with Elizabeth Millington today. She is the newest agent to the Red Door team and a brand new agent at that. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. First of all, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be an agent, and I'm thrilled to be part of the team.
That's awesome. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
So let's just jump right in. Tell us, this is always a rough question because it's like, oh, tell me about yourself. What does that even mean? But let's go into it more. So a little bit of background on you, and then what was the impetus to jump into real estate and Red Door specifically?
Okay, actually, I kind of like this question.
Cool.
So I am a teacher. I've been a teacher for 35 years. I have taught all over the country. I've been in this area teaching for the last 21 years. I teach in Heartland. I raised 2 boys in this community who are thriving adults now. That's what we're shooting for, right?
Always.
So one is soon to be engaged, and the other one is probably not far behind him. I love what I do. I love teaching. It's my passion, but I've always felt like something's missing. I just love to be in an environment where I can spend time with people. I love when people are joyfully receptive to something that I can offer them. And so while teaching offers me that, on one level, I just really have looked forward to, and actually Jen can attest to this. We've spoken about this for years.
We have.
And I said that I want to get into the business. And Jen's like, well, what are you waiting for? And in December, I said, what am I waiting for? And so I made the commitment to myself. And in March, I looked in the mirror and basically said, are you kidding me right now?
What are you waiting for?
Right. You don't follow through on what you say you're going to. And so I took my spring break and went to Warren, Michigan, and took the real estate classes, studied like crazy, took the exam, and Jen was my first call, actually. And I said, okay, let's go.
I had the privilege of overhearing that conversation, and it just, the joy and elation in your voice, the look on Jen's face, it was palpable. So
The test is not easy. I mean,
Right.
you have to study just to say a lot of people don't even pass the test on the first time. So, I mean, that alone.
But that wasn't an option for me.
Well,
Right.
that's right. That's why you buckle down and study, and it's a lot of information. But yeah, I'm so happy that you joined us. Elizabeth was my daughter's teacher, and we've had a great friendship. Tutored my daughter as well. But when you mentioned the thought of real estate, if I was to think of the people that I know who I would say cut out for real estate, like born to be in real estate, you are at that top of that list, no question. I mean, you just are such a people person, and I think the relationships that you have, because you have so many relationships, right? I mean, that's what real estate is all about. It's going to be so natural and easy for you.
Well, and I always say to people, I think the word salesperson has such a negative connotation.
Yuck.
And I never, ever considered myself. I've held several positions in which I may have been selling something, but I consider it education. And with your background in education and the ability to go out and just rock star it, I'm so thrilled for you.
I appreciate that. And it's funny that you should say that, because I think of myself as a relationship specialist.
Oh, I like
and
that.
I have kind of spent my life doing that. I put my people first, I always say. My friends, I call them family. And I consider the people that I work with, I want them to trust me. I want them to know that I make decisions with transparency and with integrity. And that's how I have to live my life. And so this is sort of a natural segue.
It's perfect.
First of all, if agents just had that general philosophy about business, I think there'd be a lot more producing agents. It seems so simple. It's actually kind of comes from a book that I shared with Elizabeth, and it just talks about putting your clients first. Putting their best interest first, and that's how you are anyway, naturally, and so it just only makes sense.
Well, when we first started, and I said, "Okay, do you remember? I said, give me a book. Tell me a book to read," and she said, "Clients first." And as I'm reading it, it was. First of all, I loved the book, but it just seemed a little common sense to me.
Right.
Because that's just how we live our life.
But not everybody does that.
Well,
that's the thing. And that's when you're reading the book, you're going, well, this is me. This is how I am. But then take that to your business, right? Because your business should run the same way that you are. And it's just common sense, but it's a common sense that a lot of people don't have.
Well, and that's why I approached you. And when we started talking, there's nobody that I would ever trust to work with because we started with a friendship.
Yeah.
And I know how you treat people and you're transparent about things and you're honest. And I said, this is how I want to do business. And this is how I want my name reflected in this brand, in this wonderful team I'm so honored to be working with.
You're chuffed.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I have to work the word into every episode.
Yes.
So as a brand new agent, what are you the most excited to learn or do? Is there any one particular thing or?
Well, it was funny because I remember when day one or even probably before when both of you, I think, said it's like drinking from a fire hose. And I thought, okay, well,
That was your line, right?
Yeah. I can drink out of a fire hose. Yeah, no, I can't. So I like to do everything. I jump in 100%, probably 110%.
I'd say, yeah.
Over. And that works, but I also have to balance that, and I'm learning that right now. It's jump in and it's step back.
Yep.
It's jump in and it's step back and learn and listen. And I'm all about, I love learning. That's why I'm a teacher. I'm a lifelong learner. And I'm proud of myself, and my kids are proud of me because they said, "Mom, you just never stop learning, do you?" And I said, no, it's a passion for me. And so I'm excited about the learning aspect. Some of it is very natural to me because the relationship piece is how I'm built.
Yep.
But there are some of the nuts and bolts that it's like, okay, but you still need to understand that this is the structure of how this business is built.
Right.
And so that's where I'm having lots of conversations with myself to just make sure that, okay, it's great to jump in and be enthusiastic and know that you're going to treat your clients as your family because that's the only way I can do it. Mm-hmm. But there's another piece, and I have to be fair to my clients too and know that when I ask them to trust me, that I also know what I'm doing so that they will trust me.
Right.
That's the beauty of being on a team, right? Yep. I mean, we're all always learning, all of us.
If you're doing it right.
And we learn from each other, and the team is here to support you in that learning process and the growth that you're going to have. And
it's such a different business because normally, because I'm exactly the same way. I won't say it, but I usually say, I go deeply into it. And there's a colloquialism for that I won't share because we're not explicit. But
now I'm intrigued.
Yeah. The long and short of it is just that I'm so glad it's such an early stage because how long have you been licensed?
A month.
Yeah, exactly. To hear you talk, you'd think it'd been like a year because you are already so... The leverage that you have in this business with this team in this brokerage is you are already head and shoulders above anybody else. And the coolest thing about you is you totally know that.
I feel so lucky. I've never had a question that has gone unanswered or that made me feel like, are you kidding me? Did you just really ask that question?
Right.
And that's that's just so powerful to me.
Yeah.
We want all the questions.
Yes. Multiple times.
And if we don't have the answers, we
We'll
will
get
find the answers for you.
Yes.
Where are we at here?
Wherever.
Oh, no, I like this idea.
one.
I know I like this. I know there's some random questions on here, but I like this. And we just had Dominic Comer, our OP, was in here with us, and he was talking about his 5-year goals and how you can be anything you want to be in 5 years. We're going to scale it down, and we're going to look at it in a 1 year. What do you think as far as your real estate goals? Because you're teaching still. What do you have in mind for real estate goals in the next year? And if you don't have them yet, then we want to sit down and write that out, right? Have you thought about that?
Actually, Jonathan and I just had this conversation today earlier, and I said, okay, that's a pretty multi-leveled question, because are you talking financial goal? Are you talking about a growth goal? Are you talking about a relationship or a client goal? And so I have all of those things. I set the bar super high.
Good.
And I recognize that if I don't get there, I just haven't gotten there yet.
I love that.
There isn't an option of, gee, I just didn't do it. And I teach my students that too. So if you don't understand something, you just haven't gotten it yet.
Right.
You're going to get it, and it might take you might have to go a different approach. So I mean, financially, I have a goal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like to talk finances because it's not important to me.
No,
right.
I mean, it's important, of course. That's why we're in this, but that isn't my first reason for why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that is why you will be successful.
And that's why. And so it's more important for me to have my clients become my family. And I want it to be that way, and I'm going to set it up that way. And I want them to know firsthand, I can be a lot, but I do it with love, and I do it because I care so deeply. And so I feel like I kind of have that part under control. I will obviously be having some challenges that I don't even know what I don't know yet. I don't know what I don't know.
That's so true.
So I just want to continue to build my business. I want to continue to learn. I'm working on my second book now about this business and how it's so similar and yet so different from anything else I've ever done.
So you're talking about the MREA. It's a Keller Williams book, and a lot of people in real estate call it it's like the real estate Bible, if you will. And there's a lot of great stuff. I can't wait for you to dig into that book because you will reference it over and over and over again. There's a lot of really great stuff in that book.
Was there another book maybe that has struck a chord with you?
Well, it's funny you should say that too. I have a daily devotional that I keep next to my bed, and I was really good at reading it every morning, and then it's, life gets in the way, and it's been a little mumble jumble the last couple of weeks. And so this morning I woke up and I rolled over and I said, I'm going to start that again. And it was so funny because I knew I was going to be doing this, and I'm not going to lie, this is different from what you typically do in the day. And so I opened it up, and it was so funny because it was basically learn to laugh at yourself and stop taking yourself so seriously. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay, I'm ready for this today. It's so true. We tend to work so hard on the professional piece. And, people just want us to look human. They just want us to know that, we're all in this together. And I just thought it was so perfect for today.
And what was the title of that book?
It's called Jesus Calling.
So, funny story. When we asked Dominic what his number one book is, the Bible. What his number 2 book is, Jesus Calling.
Okay, I have goosebumps right now because I did not know that.
It goes deeper. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, and I said this when Dominic mentioned that book. I said, I don't know, it was maybe 6 months or so ago. Oh, no, it was when my very dear friend, my very, very dear friend, Patty Beatty, passed away. And her family has a very strong faith. And my family, we never went to church. We just were not raised in faith based at all. And there was something when she passed that I just wanted to know how I'm gonna see her again. I had all these questions, and I happened to walk into Dominic's office, and I was telling him how maybe we were gonna try to explore faith. And he went out, I think it might have been that very same day. It was that or the very next day. And he bought me a copy of that same book. And he wrote a lovely note in it to me and had the little thing in there specifically for the day that he gave it to me. And what it said on that day was something that I needed to read at that exact moment. And it's weird because I keep hearing stories about people in the same book. It's crazy that both of you guys, have brought that same book up.
I call it a God wink.
Yeah.
God wink.
Yes.
And when we were explaining it all earlier, I'm just going, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then his face when we were like, so what book do you think Elizabeth might be talking about today? It's just phenomenal. And I'm going to pick it up. I did not grow up faith-based. My dad was, for lack of a better word, atheist for a long time, became agnostic. And we always dipped our toes in. And, in my world, it doesn't matter what you call it, whatever your higher power is. Some people reference it as God or gods. Some people, the universe, whichever. But to just be able to acquiesce into something so helpful and touching, it's just what a wonderful way to start the day.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and it's faith-based, and there are quotes, but it's also so purposeful to your life. It just really speaks to every day, and it helps you to recenter.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me to start my day and just have a purpose every day getting up. Okay, so I'm going to laugh a little bit more at myself today, which came at a really good time.
Right.
Well, our team, we always have a lot of laughs going on. So that's good because we all need to laugh a little bit more, I think, for sure.
Absolutely. It could be real estate or not. Is there just a piece of advice you've been given either recently or even in another facet of your life that just has really resonated for you?
It's super simple, and I was taught this as a child, and I continue to teach it to my students, and it's choose kind. I think it's so important, and I got a beautiful letter from a student at the end of this year that I had taught a couple of years ago, and she said, "You know what you taught me, Mrs. Millington? You taught me about relationships, and you taught me that it's easier to be kind and open-minded than it is to shut people out."
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how I live my life. I choose kind, and I try to reflect that in what I do each day, and I try to pass that along to my students.
And that's coming from a fifth grader too. That's pretty,
intense.
That's amazing that at that age, making that connection with you, teaching them to be kind.
And sometimes they can't put it in words, but you watch the transition and the way that they interact with their peers, and then I know I've done my job.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just so excited for every single client that you get to work with, or that actually, in my opinion, gets to work with you.
There you go. I agree with that.
Thank you.
I agree with that.
I appreciate that. I look forward to just meeting new people and listening to their journey. And that's the other thing. I think it's really important that we listen to what our clients need, because sometimes we have this preconceived notion based on, what kind of car they drive or how they come up or what they say first to you. And I think we just need to step back and ask them the question. Mm-hmm. What's going to make you happy?
Yep.
What are you really looking for? And it's not about us. It's about them, and it's about what their end goal is. And so we just have to take a minute and get to know our people. And I love doing that.
Absolutely.
The more that you are listening to the client, the more that you will know at the time that you have found them the perfect house, that you've done it the right way, that you have found them the house that they were intended to be in. And if we're not listening, you can maybe guide them to somewhere that they shouldn't be. But by really truly listening, you're going to the job satisfaction at the end of the day is going to be unlike anything ever. I mean,
paramount.
you get very involved with your clients' lives. You learn so much about people that are maybe having someone in their family that's passed and they're moving away from a family home. I mean, there's so much. And if you're just taking into account, their needs, you're going to have clients for life.
Absolutely. And friends for life.
Yeah.
More importantly,
Friendships and relationships. And if my client is marginally satisfied, that's unacceptable to me. That's not going to work for me. So they need to be joyful.
Yep. Absolutely. And singing your praises because you have served them so well, and done everything that you can for them. So
absolutely. I when I was out in real estate doing my own thing, it's just natural that, I mean, you're involved in what is most likely their biggest purchase of their entire life, or sale, or both. And I had 4 sets of clients come to my wedding, because if you're doing it right, you make friends for life. And then those friends for life are an amazing referral base that you can build. And these relationships just pour into one another. And I got very busy. I had a lot of what I call seemingly success, just meaning that I was doing a lot of business. I, made a lot of money. And then I realized that I wasn't putting my clients first. That when I was doing a listing market analysis or at a buyer consultation, I was calculating my commission. Like ew, right? And that's when I pushed the pause button. And that's when I was like, okay, we need to reset.
Yeah.
This is not me. And actually that was the end of 2019 into 2020. I literally walked away. Not completely, because I still had 5 deals, but it was just, it really caused me to think, like, is this what I want to, is this who I want to be? Is this really what I want people to see? No.
Well, in buying or selling a house is always an emotional decision, whether it's a joyful emotional decision or a hardship decision.
Right.
Keeping that in mind, that your clients might react a certain way, you can't take it personally.
Exactly.
Because they are in a moment of whatever emotion they are feeling.
Yeah.
And that's really important too, is just keep the lines of communication open and ask them what you can do for them.
Yep. And to be the steady force that's there to, help them through, because there's certainly going to be some roller coasters in almost every single real estate transaction. Nothing is super smooth, but if you're that just calm and steady, for them during these times.
Absolutely.
It's
makes a big
incredible.
difference.
It's amazing. So kind of a fun question. If anywhere in the world, there's a beautiful map on the wall for us. If you could choose anywhere in the world, where would you be?
You're probably not going to believe this.
I'll take whatever you give me.
I live on White Lake. I wake up every morning and I am so grateful and so thankful. I love where I live because I think it's my people. I know that I can rely on my circle. I know I can rely on just where I am. And I traveled when I was younger. I've lived in other places. I've lived in South Carolina. I've lived in Virginia. Lovely places. I loved it. It was great at the time. But there's something about the Midwest. And there's something about raising my kids here. And my friendships are lasting friendships. And it's built on trust and transparency. And
it's home.
It's home. So I'm saying that most sincerely.
Yeah.
because there isn't a place that I would rather be.
What's so cool about that is you're getting into real estate. You're going to be helping others find that same thing that you have.
Absolutely.
And it starts with a house, but that house then turns into so much more, right? And it's their home. It's their answer, just like you just stated.
Well, when you listen
cool.
to them, and it's what brings me joy. I am a water person. There's nothing like being out in that water. I love to water ski when I'm healthy. I have a rotator cuff situation going on here. But just being on the boat, and it's so fun because we have, everybody knows that I have an open door policy. And people say all the time, like, doesn't it drive you crazy that so many people are at your house? And I'm like, it brings me joy.
Yeah.
I love, the more the better. I am not an exclusive person. I'm very inclusive. Hey, come on over if you want to.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not there, then just make yourself at home.
Right.
You know where the beer is. You know where the fridge is.
I see a Red Door team gathering a function out at White Lake sometime real soon.
Hello. Yeah. How about tomorrow?
Wait, what do we have going on this evening?
Right.
We love you, and we're so excited to have you with us. And I think this move for you is gonna bring so much
More
to
joy.
you, more joy. Yeah, more joy to your life, and we're happy to be a part of that for sure.
And
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. And I'm home. I mean, I don't want to look anywhere else. When I walk into the office and I see all of your smiling faces, it's like, yep, this is why I'm doing this. And I cannot thank you enough. So.
Here's the thing. It's like, and I joke all the time, I swear to God, we're not paid to say this stuff. We actually do quite the opposite. We pay to say it, but I mean, it's just, it's uncanny. It's divine.
Yeah,
It is divine.
It really is.
Yep.
It's so funny because she's telling me about this Mrs. Millington that was a librarian, that's a teacher. And I'm like, okay, so in my head, don't take any offense because I had nothing.
I don't have my hair up in a bun. So don't,
No,
Hey, wait a minute.
I figured like mid 60s, fairly short, maybe a little frumpy, because Mrs. Millington. And then this dynamic, beautiful, vivacious woman walks in. And actually,
I did pay her to say that.
I'm walking in and I knew you were going to be in that day. And there's this gorgeous woman in the parking lot. I'm like, oh, let me get that door for you. And I'm like, how are you today? Great. And I go traipsing off to the office. And like a minute later, you turn the corner. I'm like, oh my God, are you Elizabeth? And she's like, yeah, are you Penny? And I'm like, I'm so freaking excited right now. You are the coolest. And it was like that. I mean, it was literally like that.
It was.
Like it was immediate. And
we kind of talked about in bringing on new agents onto the team or new team members that there's other teams in the office that they do this, that everybody has to get together and everybody has to make sure the person is a perfect fit. And I just made that decision for the team because I knew it was a perfect fit, because I just knew that you're us, and there was no, we didn't even have a discussion at all.
there wasn't a need for it.
Yeah. So
At all. And Jen just, again, I mean, God, I feel like by like episode 10, people are going to be like, we get it.
you love each other.
Yeah. But we are
But
family.
we really do.
Yeah.
But I mean, we really
It's
care.
genuine.
And we care about each other, and we really pay attention to what the other one needs at the time. And I appreciate that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Great things to come for you with Red Door.
Indeed.
Anything else, Penny,
Is there anything
that
else
we
you wanted
wanna
to chat about? Or
Tell us about.
I think. No, until next time.
Onward.
There you go. Until
next
next time.
Until next
And
time.
next time, we're going to be talking about all the new family members that
will be at my White Lake house.
Yes, yes, me included.
Exactly.
We're just
Thank you again.
we're just chuffed, as Penny would
Yes.
say, to have you. And thanks for coming and chatting with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome.